I am related to Nehemiah Abbott Jr. and Sr. also, of course. I've been working on my genealogy on and off ever since I was probably in high school. I never thought I had any Salem ancestors, but I did discover some people who were somewhat related to me through the Find a Grave project. And they contacted me because they were researching the Abbott family. I do have Abbotts in my line in Maine. I know that there were lots and lots of Abbotts in Andover, and there were so many of them that that's a line I just never bothered with, because how would you figure out which one was which? But she got me interested, and I started plowing back through the records and found Nehemiah Abbott Sr. and Jr. Not too long after that, I was reading yet another book about the Salem trials, which has been an interest of mine for a long time. And it was one that listed everybody who had been accused, and there were the Abbotts. So I went back and forth, and yep, same name, same dates, same ancestor. So I wanted to find out a little bit more, and that was when I found out that Nehemiah was accused by the girls. He was actually examined by Justices Hathorne and Corwin, and after they questioned him, he was let go. He's the only person to have been questioned and then not moved on to trial. Margot talked about him this morning and said that was the beginning of the end of trusting only in spectral evidence. The girls had described him, and they said he had a wen on his forehead. And when he was questioned, they moved his hair back, and there was no wen. And after that, the girls discovered that the specters always told them their names. So I like to think that my ancestor might have had a little bit of a part in moving the trials towards some semblance of sanity. Well, I was born in Salem, and got teased about it when I moved to Connecticut. So I always had kind of an interest in the witch trials, and I started reading about the trials when I was in high school. So I had always been interested in it. As a pagan, I've been very upset at people who seem to think that the victims in Salem were practicing some sort of what we today would call witchcraft. And I've done a lot of reading just to figure out who they really were and what it was all about. So this was a bit of history that I knew a lot about. And having a connection to it, I felt good about it. I felt like I had a bit of a stake in it. On the other hand, it means nothing. I am me, and I am a whole bunch of other people. He's one of hundreds of ancestors. But it is nice to know that he wasn't one of the accusers. I feel good about that. I think it's instructive for all of us to see how quickly something can get out of hand. Whether the first accusers believed what they were saying or not, it snowballed so quickly, and everybody knew somebody who had committed witchcraft. Everybody knew somebody a generation before who had done something. And we have it fairly well documented what happened there. But it happens over and over and over again. So I think it's one that I wish were taught in schools. I obviously think history should be taught in schools in greater depth, but particularly helping children see the lessons that this much destruction happened. And for generations after, we know people still cared about it. When people were looking in the 1950s to have an ancestor exonerated, it had that effect on that many generations of people. So I think the lesson is how something so innocuous can so quickly snowball into something horrendous. I think I would like to know from him how he felt about it himself. Did he think other people who were accused were in fact witches? Did he think that Andover had some special link to Satan or some reason why there were so many there? How did he feel when he knew it was happening? How did he feel when he was actually brought in and questioned? I'm guessing he felt relieved afterwards, but how did he feel about everything that was going on after he personally had managed to escape?